I'm Guillermo Hernandez, and I'm originally from Central America, so my background is from Panama and Costa Rica. I did my undergraduate studies over there. I also studied in the United States at Purdue University in Indiana, and I had worked in the United States, also in Iowa, which is part of that central region of the United States. I got the opportunity to work also in New Zealand. That was also a very interesting experience. I'm mostly in agricultural research, but also in environmental studies. And after that, I came across to Canada to work here at the University of Alberta. I've been here for the last 12 years now, so time flies. And at some point, I also had the opportunity through research leave to work also in Germany. So that's the diverse background that I had. And I can tell you that journey wasn't planned for. That was not part of the plan, but actually it happened in such a way that enabled me to see so many different things and be able to share different perspectives of how we look into nature, how we look into the environment, how we organize research, how we can collaborate others across the globe and be able to address questions of sustainability. So that's part of my background. I think it's essential. I think it's essential in the sense that if we are able to incorporate sustainability in about everything that we do on campus, in teaching, in research, in our daily work, then we are able to secure a future for our institution. But not only that, we are able to project that into the community, into the society. So I think sustainability is almost one of those core values that can enable us to reach our goal, to be able to apply and to fulfill our mandate, to provide benefit for society, but also to be a reflection of what the community is. So it's a way that we can contribute in many different ways by being sustainable. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate in the sense that the certificate enables this opportunity for the students to be able to take the freedom and follow a topic of their own interest, to be able to deepen their knowledge, to have more of that expertise on a subject, on a question that they would like to learn more about, but also to be able to share with others. So that cultivation that you mentioned is part of the education that we do. However, we do it in such a way that there is a framework with flexibility, and that flexibility leads the student to become more autonomous, more independent. And it's an exercise that not only helps them to learn about a specific subject, it could be water quality, or it could be urban planning, or it could be socioeconomical situation in some neighborhoods around the city, or maybe some other global problems like atmospheric contamination. They can go and learn more about those subjects, and they learn how to do it by themselves, but they also develop this ability to spread the word, to disseminate those findings, to be able to get going the conversation of sustainability. So that cultivation is very integrated in such a way that we are able to build a set of skills and concepts that goes with the student beyond the certificate. It's like making better professionals. Now they are able to contribute in so many different ways, wherever they go in their careers, at the workplace, but also in their life. They become more as citizens. So it's almost like taking our undergraduate students and telling them, okay, now it's not about the classroom and taking notes, but now it's about you yourself leading that learning and be able to take that responsibility, but that's a skill that stays with them, so they can continue to do that in the future. Yeah, that's an interesting story. I like that question. I remember, I think it was 2017 or so, and I was teaching one of my courses related to agricultural systems. We touched in sustainability in those courses, and then one of the students approached me, and she felt even agitated and very kind of focused on what she was doing, and she asked me a couple of questions about different management systems that maybe can help with sustainability or can generate problems in the environment. And I thought, well, that kind of, maybe she's going even beyond what we had as an objective or as a goal in our course. And I felt curious, so I tried to engage and continue answering her questions. And when she felt that we had addressed all the questions that she had, and then I follow up with her and said, oh, what kind of work are you doing now? Are you involved in some other initiative? Is this part of a job that you are taking outside campus, or is a research project that you are starting as a graduate student? And then she said, oh, I am doing the certificate and I'm trying to finish my project, and in about 2 weeks from now I'm going to be presenting a poster. So I wanted to get some of these ideas from you because this may be related to the course, so that I can actually incorporate that in my project. I said, the certificate? I said, what's the certificate? And then I said, okay, well, all the best with that. And then she carried on with her activities, right? This was after one of the classes. So that was the first time that I heard about the certificate from one of the students in the certificate, and how interested she was, how invested, how she was embodying the whole certificate at that moment. And then maybe 2 months after that, another student came to me and she said, oh, I enjoy very much what I learned in the course because that was also related to a certificate that I did. And I said, oh, what certificate? He said, oh, the certificate in sustainability. And I said, oh, I heard about that. Tell me more about it. And then she went about telling me how she had gone not only into completing the project, but also she had been doing presentations across outside campus in the city, talking about different aspects of how we can have better living spaces and how that contribute to health and wellness. And so I also saw again, it became a pattern, right? It became a pattern for me that these students were into it. They were just invested, they were just very interested in what they were doing. So I had to reach out and I had to check, and I started communicating with some of the representatives at the certificate and trying to see how it works. And I started joining some of the events. And before I know it, someone said, oh, there is going to be opportunity for being an advisor in the next while. I said, oh, that will be very interesting. That way I can meet more of these students. I can meet more of these students, I can learn from them, I can maybe help them, and then all of a sudden I was starting to do this gradually, and year after year I was taking more students, helping them, providing input, learning from them, and be able to be almost like a witness of the dedication that they put into the project, the passion that they follow, and the outputs that they are able to come up with, and just igniting those conversations around sustainability. So I thought that was something very meaningful, just to be part of that, and be able to help and to support, but also at the same time to learn a lot through the process. So it was a transformation for me. I know maybe this is maybe the first time I say it, but it's something that has been very beneficial. It's been rewarding in several different ways to be involved. I guess I can think on different dimensions of questions. I guess many students come to the projects or to the integrated project already with some idea of what they want to focus on, what kind of topic and what kind of ideas they maybe want to be able to develop. Still, some of them maybe arrive with questions like, oh, what do you think I can work on? And then we maybe start from there and exploring those ideas, and we go about saying, oh, what's a topic that catches your interest, something that is driving for you, something that is of your passion, something that is close to your heart, right? Something that is close to your heart, something that you really want to learn more about, and that's fine, right? However, that's maybe not the most common question. Maybe one of the most common questions to address your question is how to do it. It's very interesting because it's almost like the students have a bit more clarity on what is attracting them, what's the destination that they want to achieve, right? But the pathway to arrive to that destination seems to be covered very often by fog. It's kind of foggy, and all that we do is to engage a conversation. In a matter of 5 or 10 minutes, we are able to clear out, because oftentimes the answer is there are different options. And we have been able to see that many of those different pathways can be successful. So it's doable, right? And I understand why sometimes we kind of become stuck into the how to do things, right? But actually, it's already there. It already happened. There are many different options. Some students go about saying that their goal is to be able to bring nature into indoors. How can we expose, how can we experience more nature if we are just living or working indoors? So, but how to do that? How to achieve that goal? Well, some students go about maybe collecting twigs and leaves and pebbles and flowers and building some sort of prototype, or building a model, or building some work of art that helps people to experience nature even if they are indoors. So see, we were able to find a channel, a pathway, and that will fit very well with a student that has that interest in artistic applications. But maybe for other students that maybe have other preferences, there are other ways to do even the same question. Maybe there is data out there, maybe there is a database out there that can actually be addressed, maybe there are reports that can be ensembled, or maybe there is a literature review that is just ready to be written, or maybe a reflection paper that can be put together, or maybe just to ensemble a series of materials. So a portfolio of options that can be actually be taken in one or other way, or a combination of them. So maybe one of the most common questions that we have is how to achieve that, how to complete it, and oftentimes the answer is there are different options, and that actually channels some of the energy that they have. And actually they can see that it's part of their creativity. At the end, it's often their option in which pathway they want to follow, right? But we just try to open up so that they can see these possibilities. I guess different students will have different styles. Different students have different styles. I guess it's just for us in the beginning to be able to identify that topic. That sometimes could be challenging for some of the students. Maybe for some of them it's not that challenging, it's more natural. But that's okay, that's something that we can explore through a conversation. I think maybe more of a challenge is just finding that how, finding that pathway. And that's also maybe part of the conversation that we develop. But there is another element. It's oftentimes for creativity, to be able to develop a project that is independent, there is a need of this thing called time, right? So for some students, it sometimes becomes a bit of a challenge to do the time management aspect. To be able to realize that when a student is an undergraduate, then perhaps in an undergraduate course, they will have maybe some timeline already set for them, right? It's like, oh, the semester started in October, it will finish in December, so it's already been created for them. But now this is an independent project. They will go about doing this pretty much by themselves. So they have to actually create that timeline. And in the first stages, we also try to set up that sort of planning so that they have some of that framework in place. However, it's just a matter of starting early on enough so that they can give themselves the opportunity to have the creativity, to be able to embrace and to be able to even enjoy that process of the project itself. So in cases that they don't have enough time, then the question is how to be efficient, right? But however, as possible, if students are able to enable more of that early start, and so that they can take steps one at a time and even enjoy also that process, right? It's a moment of their education, it's a phase of their career, and they also want to be able to be mindful of what is happening, to be able to see to be witness of their own experience, I guess. So I think enabling time is something that can be a factor that can make the difference for them, and for some of them it can be a challenging if there is not enough of that time. Those are two good questions. I think they go hand by hand. So I see how when students go about selecting the project, they maybe sometimes are thinking on other factors like, oh, what the Sustainability Council maybe is expecting from me, or maybe even what the advisor is expecting from them, or what other expectation, external expectation maybe are out there, right? So actually I try to help them to become free from that, from a while, right? So that they can surface their own interest. So that they can say, well, what really is close to my heart, what is really going to be a driver for me to carry on with the project, because after all, it's them themselves that are doing the project, right? So it's important for them to work on a project that is of their strong interest, something that engages them by itself, something that they feel fascinated, they feel passion, they feel driven to dedicate their time. There's even devotion into that project. And with that, we will see that it will happen. There is no way that it will not happen because they just can't stop themselves for going after something that they really want to learn more about. So it's part of that academic freedom to some extent. We also want them to experience some of that academic freedom early on as they are finishing their undergraduate career, so to choose their own topic, but to go after something that moves them. Of course, that's where it starts, right? But also we want them to also have a topic that is having some impact. There is a topic that is going to ignite some of those conversations, to get the conversation going of sustainability, to spread the word, to disseminate, I guess. But then the question of how we kind of provide enough input, right? How we support. I like the way that you combine those two questions, because it's almost like how we challenge the student, but also how we support them, right? I think that two things go together. In the case of giving that support or providing enough input, we have this conversation, we engage a conversation, and there is sometimes this perception of a distance between the instructor, between the student. Maybe the student feels like there is some distance in there, there is some perception that sometimes can take place. So something that we work hard, I focus is on cutting that distance, or actually maybe even just to dismantle that perception. And there are several different ways to do it. Just through the way that we start the conversation, just by introducing ourselves, just by being able to see that we can use our first name, or that we feel comfortable with what we are doing, and that we see that we have this common goal. That here we are not, my primary goal is not to check on them, but actually to support them and to enable them to go through this process. And then we see, oh, look, we are all in the same team. We are all here on board and trying to advance the project. So through that process of dismantling that perception, then a student feel more an open channel of communication. On top of that, after the first conversations, we actually let them know that they can keep on reaching to us. Some of them do it, some of them don't need to do it, but it's important just to say that we are here available. And it can be by meeting again, in person, online, whichever is the preference. So we also open that, and also be able to see that they can reach out to us via email or on the phone, and that we are there for supporting them through the process. Not only that, but also I turn around the things, and then I try to ask them that they actually need to reach out to us. So it's not only that they have the opportunity, but we expect that they will reach out to us through the process of the project, and before they go public, that they want to be able to share with us their progress, so that we can support them with those reviews and input and comments. So we kind of set up some atmosphere, some environment that is conducive for them to be able to say, oh, actually, this is not just something that I can do, but it's anticipated that I will be actually reaching out and seeking that input and capturing that input into the project. So I think those elements help us to see that the students go about engaging in the project and that they are successful through that. They not only are happy when they are doing it, but also they learn a lot. And they help us to get going with this conversation in sustainability across campus and even outside campus. Oh yes, that's a good point. I get that question a lot, let me tell you. And the right answer is every of them. Pretty much every of those projects resonate in such a special way. I can tell you why. It's just the diversity. There's such a wide range of variety. It's just out there. And how many ways we can actually approach sustainability, even from doing the laundry at home, or maybe by looking at how urbanization is happening in some parts around the world, or maybe how immigrants are facing so many different challenges when they are newcomers, or perhaps ideas around socioeconomical condition and atmospheric pollution, how they are linked to each other. I never thought about that myself before until a student brought that up and said, how are you going to study this? And be able to engage those projects and be able to see that every of them is unique. So I guess maybe that's the reason. Every of them is special, every of them resonates by long ways because every of them is unique. In that variety, in that diversity of contributions that they make, looking at social aspects, looking at environmental aspects, and even indigenous knowledge that is being incorporated, and ethical aspects of sustainability. There are so many different elements that enrich the conversation of sustainability, and our students do that. And when I mention that, I get to this reflection, I get to the point when I realize that actually the reason for why every project resonates a lot is because the project is no longer the output, is no longer the poster, is no longer the painting, is no longer the prototype or the software or whatever is being delivered. The project is the student. The student is the one that is being transformed. The student is actually the project because they are the one who now carry this conversation of sustainability. They are able to go through the workplace or to their careers. They are able to go to the communities and not only to be professionals, but now they are able to be citizens because of this elaboration of their education by talking about a special value that is central, is core for us, sustainability. So they are the project, and every of them is unique. Every of those students is unique. And beyond there, it's not just that every student is unique and every of them resonates a lot by far, and they carry with them the message of sustainability, but it's because collectively they help us to get going with this conversation of sustainability. Not only here in campus, but also they go to the city, they go to other venues, they actually spread the word. So that energy, that sparks, is actually what makes the difference. And we are only able to do it because students have this strong interest to be able to engage and to be able to fulfill the requirements of the certificate, so that they are recognized for the dedication that they have. They are going here the extra mile, right? They are going here the extra mile as students because they are now able to see that they not only completed the undergraduate degree, but they have also this other involvement. Right? They have this dedication that they were able to demonstrate, and they are able also to build their own skills. And so it's a beautiful synergistic environment that I think is a model that we can actually see it improving our educational system.